747-4 stopped flying, the world got a lot less impressive. And now the 75's gone, the world's got a lot more boring.
Yeah.
And
the airport's going to be a lot more quiet. I've described it as, because
yeah,
one of them.
This is a weird thing, because years ago, 30 years ago, I used to go down, Heathrow spotting. I've got some amazing photos of Concorde and the old 74s, DC-10s, TriStars, Mad Dogs, DC-9s, all the old noisy stuff, 707s. And when the 75 came out, everyone was like, this is such a quiet plane.
Yeah.
And now we're like, it's so noisy. There used to be a Italian restaurant off the end of 27 right at Heathrow over in Datchet or Poyle. It's an Italian restaurant. It's 2 3-story semis knocked together.
Okay.
And you could sit in the back garden and have your meal in the summer. It was lovely. I can't remember the name of it. New Bertoli or something like that. And, this is 30 years ago. So in the evening, you'd have all the stuff going off the Far East. You had 747-100s, 200s, 400s, DC-9s, TriStars, DC-10s rather, and they're all heavily loaded.
Yeah.
So they were screaming. The engines were screaming. Hot summer's day, going over your head at low level, and it was just amazing.
A bygone time, mate.
Yeah, and this is another thing that made me think, is that when I was on the 75, we were going to these weird and wacky places in Africa. We didn't have GPS on the early 75s. The later ones had them, but we didn't. You were tracking needles. When you took off out of Gatwick, you had to, the kit, the FMS wouldn't. It could do it, but because of map shift, it wasn't quite sure where you were. You had to wait for it all to update and get readings from beacons to update. So you had to take off. 400 feet, you'd select a heading. 1,000 feet, you want to do the acceleration bits. You'd ask for climb thrust, flight level change, speed VRF plus H. You'd accelerate. Mm-hmm. And then once that was in, you get the autopilot in when it was trimmed. But you'd have to fly it in a heading. So nowadays, the box will give you all your directions and fly you now. But now you'd have to do in a heading. You have the ILS tuned up. You go straight at 2.3D on the ILS. You then turn right. My VOR would be tuned into the Detling VOR, which is what you'd then intercept and track this VOR radial bearing, tracking a needle. And then when you get there, the second VOR would have Dover in, and you'd head out towards Dover. By the time you'd sort of done the turn and you're heading up towards Detling, the kit would update and work out where it was, and then you could sort of use what's called LNAV.